In this video, I'm going to show you if you can lose fat and build muscle at the same time. I'm going to share exactly the types of people who are able to do this and break things down into 3 simple steps so you can do the same. This is the same process that I've used with my client James, who has lost 32 kilograms so far and built a whole load of muscle too. So let's get into the video. And if you want more help with your fat loss, head over to the link in my description to get access to my free fat loss guide. So the 3 steps to losing body fat and building muscle at the same time. Now, the first question we need to ask ourselves is, who is this going to work for? Because technically it can work for everyone, but it's going to be, there's people who are more well-trained in the gym and people who are more experienced in the gym are going to find it a lot harder to actually be able to build muscle while dieting. So there's 3 types of people that this will work really, really well for, and I want you to consider. So the first people will be beginners in the gym. Now, they're at a big advantage when it comes to building muscle. You can literally touch a weight in the gym as a beginner and you're going to start building muscle. It's a case of just getting started, developing them nervous system adaptations, and muscle will kind of grow almost straight away, and they'll see much faster progress than anyone else when it comes to building muscle. So these people will have that potential to still build muscle while they are in a calorie deficit and while they are dieting, because as we know, being in a calorie deficit is not the most optimal circumstances to build muscle, but if you're a beginner in the gym, it's definitely something that can help you build muscle faster, and you can do this especially while in a diet too. Second types of people are people who have kind of recovered from injuries or they've had a layoff. So if you've had a kind of a bad injury and had to take 6 months to a year off the gym or something like that, then you've lost kind of progress, you've lost muscle mass, you've kind of fallen out of shape, then this is you are in a good position to actually be able to build muscle again while you are dieting. When you've had injuries or health concerns, you'll lose muscle from the time you've had off in the gym, and it's much easier to regain that muscle back after when you return to training then. So you've had that little injury, you've had a lot of time off the gym, then even if you're in a diet, this is going to work for you really, really well. And the same with detrained people. So if you have just kind of fucked things off, had a good bit of time off the gym, you've fallen out of shape, you've really let things slip from being in a position where you had muscle and you were in good shape, then again, you are a good person and you have good potential to be able to build muscle while in a diet or in a calorie deficit. Okay. So the first step that we're going to talk about that's going to allow us to do this process is we need to work out our calories, okay? We need to be in a calorie deficit to lose body fat, as we know. So we need to make sure that we're eating the right amount of calories to do so and to ensure that we are in a deficit. So here's exactly how you can do this. Firstly is the calorie calculations. Now we want to take your body weight in pounds, so in pounds, which is if you're in kilos, and times it by 2.2. So let's say, for example, 100 kilos times 2.2 is 225. Yeah, 225 pounds. So you take your body weight in pounds and you want to times this number by 10. This will give you a rough estimate of the calories to follow. So for example, if you weigh 200 pounds, then your calorie target for a deficit will be around 2,000 calories per day. So this is quite a really simple and easy calculation to get a good baseline of where you're at and how many calories you want to be eating in order to sustain a calorie deficit and start to drop body fat. Okay, because to build muscle and to lose body fat, we have to lose body fat as well. The only way to lose body fat is in a calorie deficit. So pretty simple. We have to follow these rules as such. Now, the next thing we want is to be able to hit a protein target. Now, eating protein is going to be important. And why? It's because we need this protein to help us recover and to help us build muscle during that dieting phase. So the more protein we can intake, the more of that protein is going to go towards building muscle and recovering in the gym from your gym training than it is going towards kind of being used for energy while you're in a calorie deficit. So to work out how much protein you need, we want to times your body weight in pounds, again, by 0.7 to 1. So the ideal range for protein and getting a good amount of protein in is 1 gram per pound of body weight at a max, or 0.7 per gram of body weight as a minimum, okay? So when we are in a deficit, and my advice for this would be to go on the higher end. Again, because when we're in a deficit, we're in an energy deficit, we're burning more calories than we're consuming. So some of the calories that we're consuming are going to go towards energy to sustain your body and to survive, basically. So when we are dieting, if we're getting enough protein in, we want to go for that higher end of protein so we can sustain as much muscle as possible. We've got as much protein being used that's going to go towards muscle growth and muscle repair as well over time. So again, as an example, for 1 gram per pound of body weight, if you weigh 200 pounds, then it's 200 grams of protein each day we want to be aiming for. Yeah. The next thing is to be consistent with it. So consistency will always be key in this case. We need to make sure that over time we're being consistent with the amount of calories we're eating and that we're being consistent with the amount of protein we're consuming. Now, this is so important because a couple of off days, especially on your calories and especially on diet, where you might binge out, you go off plan, you eat over your calories, that temptation or that willpower gives in. This can make a big difference. So a couple of days a week where you are going over because maybe you're hungry and maybe your willpower gives in, this can ruin or can wipe out a whole week's worth of progress from a standpoint of fat loss. So you can wipe out your whole calorie deficit for the week quite comfortably and quite easily by going off track a few days of the week. So staying consistent with your food and staying consistent with your protein over time is going to be absolutely key. Really, really key. Now, the next step, and step 2, is going to be all to do with your training. Like we say, we've gone through the process of losing body fat, and we know the basics and the fundamentals of what we want to do there. But now we need to know how we should be training in the gym so that we can build muscle as well. And here is exactly how. The first thing is deciding how many times a week do we want to train. Okay. Now, any training split can work. So it's 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, push-pull legs, upper body, lower body. They all can work over time, right? And we just need to find the program that you can be consistent with. So every program is going to work, but where most people fall off is that they pick a program that's not going to be sustainable for them. It's not going to be consistent for them over time. So we need to find which program or which way of training is going to suit your life the best. Okay. So what I want you to do is consider realistically, how many times a week can you train? If you've got a really, really busy schedule or you're a beginner, then I would recommend 3 days a week to start with. And you can always move up and change it from there. If you're a little bit more experienced or you've got a little bit more time on your hands or you really, really love going to the gym and you want to go more times, then I recommend 4 to 5 times a week if you're a little bit more experienced there. You can get just as good results on all 3 different ways of training, all of the training programs. It just depends what we're looking at here is how consistent you can be with them over time, right? Now, the next thing is what training split do we use? So again, any training split we'll use, like I mentioned before, but we want to make sure we're hitting each body part twice a week. So if you're picking a 3-day training split, and you're going for upper body, lower body, and full body, okay? That's a way that we can hit all of our muscle groups twice per week. So in the full body, we're hitting both upper and lower. Lower body, we're hitting lower body. Upper body, we're hitting upper body. Yeah. If you're picking a 4-day training split, then something like an upper-lower split, upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body. Again, we're training both. We're training our body parts and we're hitting our body parts twice per week. And then on a 5-day training split, we spread the volume out a little bit more so we can do a little bit more and have a push day where we're training our chest, shoulders, and triceps. We can have a pull day where we're training the back and the biceps. And we can have an upper body day to hit the upper body twice and a lower body day to hit the lower body twice as well in that. So what you can find with this is you can always find a program template online that can help you out. Now, it will do the job and it will give you a good baseline to kind of work from. Or if you're a little bit more experienced, you know your way around the gym, you can kind of include and create your own program too. The important thing with the training is that we're consistent with it and we have a program in place that we can rinse and repeat over time, okay? So it's not really necessarily about the exact split. It's push-pull legs, full body, upper body, lower body. It's more a case of can we be consistent with this and can we obviously push hard on our training and be able to rinse and repeat this over time. Yeah, that's what's going to be most important when it comes to building muscle. Now, the next thing and another very important thing is intensity, okay? To build muscle, we need to be training with intent and we want to be training to get strong, right? And to get strong, we want to be pushing hard in the gym. Now, a good way to do this is to always try to think about lifting heavier in the gym with your reps and with the exercises that you do. Push the weights up on your exercises week on week. And I want you to think about on your last set of an exercise, if you had a gun to your head right now, could you get another rep out if you tried? Okay, so on your last sets of an exercise, I want you to push to that limit where we're really, really pushing the weights and we're really struggling to get them last reps out, because this effort is going to stimulate muscle growth in a way. It's going to stimulate what we call mechanical tension, and that mechanical tension is going to be the main driver of your muscle growth. So to simplify it, just think about trying to get stronger and stronger with your exercise in the gym over time, and think on your last sets, we want to really push to failure. Think, if you've got a gun to your head, could you get another rep out? Okay, so we've been through the how to kind of build muscle, through how to lose the body fat. Now we want the step 3, which is tracking all of the data. Now, this is going to be vital because the data is king, okay? We need the data because it allows us to track all of the metrics and everything that we're doing along the way. And it allows us to make the changes where we need to if we're not making progress as we want to be. Okay, so going off the data will allow us to base our decisions off the data rather than going off your feelings, because I know, so for a lot of people, you can get caught up in your feelings. You might be having a bad day and you might be getting frustrated with your progress over time. So you can make rash decisions based off that might not be necessary at all. But when we have the data in place, the data doesn't lie, and we can make our decisions and base our decisions off the data rather than off how you're feeling on a given day. Okay, so how do we track the data then? And what kind of metrics do we want to be tracking as well? So the first thing is going to be tracking your calories. Now, tracking your calories is going to be a vital part of losing body fat, okay? We need to know exactly how many calories we're eating day to day to help us keep us on track with our fat loss, of course, and to help you see how consistent you are with your food over time. So if you find yourself tracking your calories every day, but you're not losing any weight, then we want to look back and we can spot trends, we can spot patterns. So have we been as consistent as we wanted to be? Have we been tracking every single day? Have we been tracking the little snacks and things that go unnoticed, where we grab a handful of Maltesers or whatever, and we don't log it in, because them calories can add up over time. So it's very important that we track our calories and follow a nutritional plan, a calorie target and a protein target over time. Now, to do this, you can use an app like MyFitnessPal. There's plenty of nutrition tracking apps out there. I would avoid the new AI apps where you take a picture of your food and it guesses how many calories are in it. They are super, super inaccurate, so I wouldn't go off them at all. But use an app like MyFitnessPal, weigh your food out, scan the barcodes, and pick your meals and log your nutrition like that. That is the perfect way to do it, okay? The next thing we want to be able to track and measure is your lifts in the gym, okay? In order to build muscle, we need to get stronger, of course. And tracking the weights you lift in the gym will be a very important part of this, okay? So when you step into the gym, you know exactly what weights you've lifted in your session before, and you know exactly where you can improve and progress with your training over time. So a lot of the time we'll go in the gym and we'll just pick up some weights and lift them and put them back down, and then we come in the gym again and we don't really know what we've lifted the last time. We do the same again and we don't make any progress and we don't really get stronger over time. Whereas if we're recording the weights that we lift and recording the reps that we do for each set, then we have that data that we can look back on over time. So when you step in the gym, you know exactly what weights you lifted last time and how you can improve them. Whether you feel like you should go up a weight on your next exercise or your next session, or whether you should feel you should go for more reps on the last session too. So having that data in place is going to be vital to go back on, refer to, so we know we're making progress and we know we're getting stronger over time, because that is what's going to help us build muscle. Okay. The last thing is tracking your body weight. A lot of people don't like this, and maybe they don't like the scales and the numbers on the scales, but the scales are a very important metric, okay? It's one of the key things we'll use to see if we're losing weight or we're not, okay? If the scales are going up, we're gaining weight. The scales are going down over time, we're losing weight, okay? So this is a super, super important piece of information that we need to have every day. And we can base decisions off this too, because if your weight is not budging and it's staying the same, but you've been super consistent with your calories that we've been tracking before as well, then what we know is that maybe we're not in the calorie deficit and maybe we need to make a change and lower your calories a little bit over time. Okay, vice versa. If your weight is coming down consistently with your current calorie targets that we're tracking, that we're logging, and we're nice and consistent with our training as well, then we know everything's on track, everything's heading in the right direction, and if it's working, then there's no need to change it. You can keep going and keep progressing because we know we're moving forward with the plan, okay? So to weigh yourself, I recommend weighing yourself every morning, okay? After using the bathroom and before eating or drinking anything. This is going to be the most consistent way to weigh in, okay? Because we've had a sleep, we've fasted for a few hours, we've woke up in the morning, we've emptied the bladder, we've gone to the toilet, and we've not ate or drank any food yet, okay? There are going to be ups and downs with this depending on hundreds of different factors, but we want to weigh in every single morning, first thing, after using the bathroom, before eating or drinking anything, okay? If we're not doing this and we're weighing in through the day, then you might have eaten some food, you might have drank some water, and like a litre of water weighs a kilogram. So if you've consumed a litre of fluids through the day and then weighed in, then it can really offset the result that the scale is going to give you and make it very inconsistent over time. Okay, so we want to be weighing in every single day, every single morning, and we want to keep log of this information. And an easy way to do it is, well, you can log it in your health app on your phone if you're using Apple, or you can keep log of this information on MyFitnessPal. Super, super simple. So this is exactly the 3-step process that we want to use to help you lose body fat and build muscle at the same time. So if you're one of the types of people who can be in a good position to build muscle and lose body fat at the same time, then I really hope this has helped you out. I'll leave some more content up at the top for you to watch as well. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.